Instead of seeing the debt go down, they saw the BAMSI building in Andros go up in a blaze and no insurance. Instead of seeing the debt go down, they saw the newly paved airport corridor get destroyed by a disgruntled road worker, a worker who had said he had not been paid. Instead of seeing the debt go down, the Bahamian people inhaled toxic smoke from continuous fires at the city dump. Then came the F&M administration, who entered as a new government that inherited a downgraded economy teetering on the edge of a fiscal cliff. There wasn't much investor confidence left. You will remember the last PLP administration's role in the Bahamas fiasco. A sitting cabinet minister writing the original developer directly and applying pressure for all the resort's expected brokerage business. Yes, there was more, but after that U.S. court ruling, some of the rest of those skeletons are currently before the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions awaiting review. And it's possible that review will be completed before the still pending Michelle Reckley case. But let's not hold our breath, Bahamas. Not all possibilities are probable. The last F&M administration implemented prudent fiscal strategies and greater discipline. And despite the destruction caused by Hurricane Irma in September of 2017, all was on track to begin paying down the debt, all until Dorian destroyed the Abaco and Grand Bahama economies, and the global COVID pandemic shut down world tourism and trade. There was nothing left to do besides stoically move forward. One people united in love and service. Food programs were created with NGOs, and provisions for Bahamian families were rolled out earlier and with more efficiency than any of our brother and sister nations in the region. All civil servants were kept employed. Loss of Bahamian lives were mitigated through isolate-in-place measures, while diplomatic relationships were successful in securing vaccines to protect even more lives. Most of our people weren't financially capable to get on a private plane to the United States for private medical care, even though at least one member in here did. I'm going over all of this to make a point. The Davis Christie administration should have already been paying down our debt. They should have delivered a balanced budget, and they did not. The administration was on track to do it, but for an act of God and a global pandemic, they could not. Now we're being sold a balanced budget projection by the Davis-Cooper administration. They are even trying to tell us they will deliver a budget surplus. If you believe that, it's because you are still comfortable believing what the Prime Minister says and can at the same time completely ignore what the Deputy Prime Minister says. One says surplus, while the other says tourism faces slowdown. It's all here, Mr. Deputy Speaker, in the press. Once again, another case of the Prime Minister conveying one message and the Deputy Prime Minister conveying another. Yes. They're playing good cop, bad cop with us, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to have our way with us.
Bad cop, bad cop.
Why are you doing that, Jimbo?
They want us to think it's going our way.
Why are you doing that?
But it is only their way, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Bahamas, if you are, like me, you don't believe this Davis-Cooper administration anymore. They are so arrogant and oblivious that they would still try to sell ice to an Eskimo, knowing the Eskimo ain't buying ice. They are so arrogant, they would boast of a housing program and just brush off complaints of rushed and shoddy workmanship. They're so arrogant, they would ask the public to stop parking in a handicapped parking spaces while they themselves are parking in them without authority. Here, Mr. Deputy Speaker, you can see a post on social media of where a government minister's vehicle was parked in a handicapped parking spot. That caught the press's attention, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Who was that?
That caught the press's attention, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And what struck me with disgust was the fact that this minister actually works in the same ministry of the minister saying, don't do it. Arrogance, so, Mr. Deputy Speaker, caused that minister or assistant minister to do it. They are so arrogant, Mr. Deputy Speaker, they would pull back on social service aid, claiming they are focusing on the people in real need, the people sleeping on cement floors, and at the same time simply announce there is a rise in mothers prostituting their daughters for payment of household bills. That's correct. Remember that shocking description of life under the Davis-Cooper administration? There are a rising number of mothers exploiting their daughters in transactional sex for household bills. I'm not for that, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I'm not for the PLP. Remember what happened this weekend on Sunday? On Sunday alone, and the Father's Day at that, at least 5 men were shot in 2 separate incidents, and 3 have died. One, a senior officer within the police reserves. I am not for that. I am not for the PLP. They are so arrogant that they would tell you that they are taking a review of incidents in the police force so serious that they are creating an independent commission of investigation. And then months later, when they think the public concerns have cooled, only allocate $30,000 for operation of the commission. 30 grand. That is enough to cover $2,500 a month in rent and nothing more. They aren't serious, but they want us to buy what they are selling. I'm not for that, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I'm not for the PLP. Before I go further, let's talk about this alleged surplus. A well-respected Bahamian professional said he doesn't see where the money for the surplus is coming from. What have you heard? Have you heard we are getting it from the carbon credit money? I haven't.
Zero. Nothing.
What have you heard? Have you heard we're getting it from increased stopover visitor money?
Not at all.
I haven't. Sometimes when arrogant people try to sell you something you no longer are interested in buying,
Yes.
you have stopped listening because of what you've seen.
Tone them up.
Bahamian icon Nadi Zenekalaiaka said it best on his recent episode of The Coldest. You follow Nadi Zenekalaiaka, Mr. Deputy Speaker? This is the end image of his episode of The Coldest. Nadi said, where's the surplus? The people can't see a surplus, Mr. Deputy Speaker. They can't see a surplus. They can't see a surplus, Mr. Deputy Speaker. What the people do see, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
You mean help you?
No, I'm good. What the people do see, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Good. He's good. We got him. We got him. He's good.
What the people do see, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is a surplus of cruise workers,
Yes.
foreign cruise workers, a surplus of immigration and unemployment issues,
Yes.
a surplus of violence against women and children, a surplus in the demand for the freedom of information, a surplus in consultants, a surplus in potholes, a surplus in poor health care, a surplus in improper ambulances, a surplus in soup lines, in rising poverty, and a surplus in BPL load shedding, a surplus in cronyism, and a surplus in no-bid contracts. So where, oh where, is that surplus money coming from, Mr. Deputy Speaker? So where is that surplus money coming from, Mr. Deputy Speaker? Well, it's coming from VAT. It's coming from tax.
Yes.
Let's go to the book, the budget book, that is, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I've got all my budget books here right now. They're the cornerstone for my board, so I'll leave them there. Let's go to the budget book, though, to see what's happening with VAT under this dry your tear from your eye administration. In the supplemental budget estimates of revenue and expenditures for 2021 and 2022, okay? Supplemental budget expenditures for 2021, 2022. That was the first thing this PLP government had us doing after they won the election. In those estimates, now these are the estimates before the PLP introduced the VAT trick gimmick. In those estimates for the supplemental budget of 2022, the VAT to be collected before the PLP's VAT adjustment trick totaled $925,987,748. Almost 75 million less than a billion. In the budget book, after the PLP VAT adjustment trick to change the rate of VAT to 10% on everything, the VAT collected rose all the way up to $1,135,805,883. That's a total increase, Mr. Deputy Speaker, Bahamians at home. That's a total increase of $209,818,000 off the backs of Bahamian taxpayers. Yep. They told you they took VAT down, but VAT in the bank went up. Oh. Don't mind what they say. Watch what they do.
That's right. What's the point order?
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Yamakura.
Mr. Deputy, the member is not honest in his assessment and clearly either does not understand math or is intentionally trying to mislead and confuse the Bahamian public. Mr. Deputy, I'll address a few other things that the member said about VAT collection at the end and the implementation of VAT. But I cannot allow the member to continue on this course that he is going on because he's done it before. Not only do Bahamians pay VAT, number one, anyone who enters the country are subject to our VAT rules as we are subject to tax rules in every other jurisdiction that we go to. And so the collection of VAT and the increase of VAT collections and revenue has nothing to do with putting more burdens on Bahamian people. We have decreased the burden of VAT on Bahamian people, and we have been able to cause persons who have otherwise skipped paying taxes to pay taxes in that manner. And therefore, we saw increases, and this has been explained by the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Prime Minister, and all of the other finance persons who also advised this opposition. They still can't understand the concept of mathematics, and the members should stop trying to rewrite math numbers and understand that collection of VAT has nothing to do with imposing heavier VAT. As a matter of fact, we decreased the VAT from what they put it to, 60%. We decreased VAT further to 5%, and Bahamians are paying less in VAT than they did 60% under their administration, and a further 5% when we look at the amount of food items when compared to what they did, that they so-called called breadbasket items, the 20 items or so. So I'm just asking for the member to withdraw that statement or correct himself that it's more burden on Bahamian people when paying VAT, because that is not true.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I don't think there was anything of merit there, so I'll proceed.
Zero. 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 Somebody else. Somebody else. Talk to us. Talk to us.
So as I said, in the first budget book after the PLP VAT adjustment trick to change the rate of VAT to 10% on everything, VAT collections rose to $1,135,805,883, a total increase initially by the PLP over the F&M of $209,818,135. Now that's just in the brief window between January 1st, 2022 and June 30th, 2022.
Yes.
Okay? Just in that 6-month period from their VAT trick by putting 10% VAT on everything, they collected $209 million more. They're trying to boast of a projected surplus, but all they have done is tax Bahamians.
Yes.
Increase fees.
In 2023, 2024, VAT collected on the backs of Bahamians was $1,346,254,573.
My.
And in 2024, 2025, VAT projected collections on the backs of Bahamians was $1,515,619,124. Now, what that means, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is that if you do not know the magic behind what may eventually become a surplus, let me tell you, the magic behind what may eventually become a surplus is you. It's the tax that you have been made to pay at an estimated collection of $500 million more each year since the PLP adjusted tax to 10% on everything. $500 million more, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Box of the people.
Now, if I collect more in my pocket from you, and I tell you, you've actually been paying less, who is the fool, Mr. Deputy Speaker? Who is the fool? The PLP is out here trying to fool the people.
Yes.
The PLP has been doing that for a long time, Mr. Deputy Speaker, but we're entering into our next 50. So let me break it down even further for the people at home. Those people still at work, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Keep going, Fernand. Keep going.
If we have 450,000 citizens, residents in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, they've now each paid $1,100 more by way of VAT to this PLP heartless administration. If, Mr. Deputy Speaker, you believe our residents total 400,000 citizens, it's $1,250 per person.
My God.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Yamakro.
Was I honestly don't want to interrupt the member, but the member is totally misleading, and he is totally inaccurate. The member seem not to understand simple math. And the Bahamian people, there was no extra VAT burden put on the Bahamian people. VAT was decreased and then further decreased. And no matter how we spin it, if the collection is more, that means that more VAT is being collected. Other persons are paying, people who otherwise did not pay VAT. Where some of the persons who have ducked VAT and do wealthy residents, some foreigners, revenue collections unit that they decimated and dismantled was put in place by the administration to cause persons to pay their fair share who otherwise was ducking paying taxes. This is simple math.
Order,
and
members.
this is simple math, Mr. Deputy. And also, for a member to stand on his feet when just recently, not only their former Minister of Finance, speaking out against our recent reduction in VAT and questioning where revenue generation would come from, and the former Minister of State for Finance speaking about how VAT decrease from 10%, from 12% to 10% would decimate the economy of the Bahamas. And he could not figure out how we would generate revenue based on the fact that we gave this promise. And no matter how they did their math was wrong, we proved it wrong, and we presented both instances with decreases in VAT and collected more revenue despite the naysayers on the other side. And that's what the Davis administration would have done, because we have real math experts on this side.
Missed the boat, Sedans. Missed the boat. He missed the boat.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, are we back on?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I think the public will agree with me, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Yamacraw has the second most annoying voice in this House of Assembly, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Honorable member, let's be respectful. Yeah.
So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'll start back on page 1. I'll start back on page 10, Mr. Deputy Speaker, at the bottom. So if you break that $500 million across an estimated 400,000 citizens or residents, it's $1,100 per person that they have been paying an additional VAT to this PLP administration. And if you think it's 400,000...
Incorrect.
The chair recognizes the honorable member for Freetown.
Now, I know that when Sinance was with me, he did conveyancing. And I think he does conveyancing in his practice. And he knows what is paid on conveyances by persons who aren't residents.
That's right.
He's also aware that tourists pay VAT.
That's right.
He's also aware that anyone who consumes anything in this country pays VAT.
That's right.
And it's really juvenile to seek to mislead in this fashion. The fact of the matter is, everyone who pays, according to them, $149 per cruise ship passenger pays VAT on it. And I think it was 11 million of them. And we did that math. And so for Sinance to be suggesting to the Bahamian public who works in the restaurants, who work in the hotel, who collect VAT from foreigners, that they're the only people paying VAT, that only citizens pay VAT, that is dishonest and misleading.
The chair recognizes the honorable member for St. Anne's.
And Mr. Deputy Speaker, the good King's Council should acknowledge that there had been conveyancing work before the VAT increased, the PLP increased VAT to 10%. He should acknowledge, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to his point, that there were non-Bahamians living in the country before VAT was increased by the PLP to 10%.
The chair recognizes the honorable member for Freetown.
Descending to the ridiculous, we're going from 12 to 10 is an increase. The FNM increased VAT by 60% to 12%, and the PLP reduced it to 10%. I'll give them their bread basket, I'll give them their bread basket, Mr. Deputy Speaker, but going from 12 to 10% is a decrease.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, by my record, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the King's Council, the man for Freetown, is speaking on Wednesday. Today is Monday, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And if I